Being an anime fan and not watching One Piece is like casting a scarlet letter on you for the rest of your life. Every single One Piece fan will hound you like a dog and beg you to watch, as if you can watch the whole thing in a weekend. It's gotten to the point where I think anime fans dislike One Piece solely because of how rabid their fan base is when it comes to their show, and it makes you stop and think that they gotta be getting commission on the people they bring over to watch it. So, as someone that has walked the walk and watched the anime, caught up to the manga, and made hundreds of One Piece anime videos, it's time for me to educate you on what this mysterious thing is you're missing out on, without serious spoilers of course. And if you've already watched One Piece, well, you're here to watch me glaze the show, so roll it.
あいつらに任せてる。
地獄の王にそれ消してやろう。助けて、できない。
ルフィさんはそこまでして海に出て何をするんですか？
俺は海賊王になる男だ。
In order to properly understand how One Piece is so beloved, you need to understand how the anime/manga started. With the manga starting in 1997, before the likes of Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, Naruto, Kagurabachi, the shonen market wasn't what it is today, and One Piece came in at 9th on manga sales in 1998. One Piece was really moving into a market that really only had the likes of Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho. Look, I'm sorry if I didn't mention some other manga there. I'm not too familiar on manga that came out 25 years before I was born, but I know those two at least. And if you're wondering about how the masses took One Piece's intro arc, well, by 2000 it became the #1 selling manga, and it hasn't really changed since then. But now that the stage is set, how good is the beginning of One Piece? Well, One Piece starts with Romance Dawn, and it's one of the best intro arcs of the old school long anime style that we've seen. The only thing it's really second to is the Land of Waves, and it definitely exceeds the likes of Bleach and Hunter x Hunter. The start of One Piece features immediate establishment of world with pirates, marines, corrupt marines, evil pirates, nice pirates, bounty hunters, navigators, and all of this comes together well because of the pacing in Romance Dawn. It takes its time and may seem slow at times, but just know this is the most fast-paced part of One Piece by far. But all of these characters are thrown at you, and you start realizing that the main character, Luffy, is the perfect guide for this story because he's just a complete airhead that doesn't know right from left, and he's learning about the world just as you are. And even though he's shouting every chance he can that that line always hits, you immediately have something to latch onto, and besides showing off really cool locations in the early part of One Piece, you're immediately going to notice that there's literally no stone unturned when it comes to character. No matter who you are or what you like, you're going to find yourself in the main cast because the characters are that relatable. So I'm going to introduce the main cast because they are the main sticking point of the early part of One Piece. And hey, I know you're getting a little anxious about spoilers, but calm down, you're good. I'm not going to spoil anything too crazy for you. So starting with the strongest, the meanest, the coldest, the one that is feared by all in Usopp. Immediately upon introduction, you realize his intellect is on another level. He's seeing danger forward and he's about to hit the greatest U-turn of all time and run for the hills. He's trying to be the bravest warrior of the seas, not a legend who died at sea. Moving on to Nami, and besides the fact that One Piece women are drawn like, you know, look, Oda gotta get checked out. But anyways, she's very much so the stitching of the crew and has the most important character moments in the early stages of One Piece. And then you have Sanji, who had spice and flavor whilst also having the best story upon introduction of joining the crew, and his energy is sick. Let's be honest, he got a drip to him that can only be compared to Zoro. Zoro doesn't have a deep backstory, he don't got time for feelings, he got a do-rag, and he's a bounty hunter that doesn't hunt bounties because he is the best vice captain to the main character Luffy, who is the perfect MC for One Piece as someone that encapsulates the feeling of joy you get while watching this series. So I've introduced all these guys to you, and if you theoretically haven't seen One Piece, you're sitting there like, who cares? Well, listen, have you ever heard a One Piece fan say, that part was slow, or that arc was ass, or it doesn't get good till episode 500? Well, the reason people can still watch One Piece is that watching this cast is the primary reason for watching One Piece until episode 300. All these characters immediately have dreams that they won't be able to achieve till the end of the series, and every little action is seemingly moving them forward towards it, whilst having distinct personalities and Oda putting them in situations where their themes are called into question. And most of all, it's just really funny watching them sometimes. But I know what you're thinking, that may be cool and nice, but there must be more to it than just the characters. That got people talking about this anime like it's crack in the 90s, and I'm sure your little anime elitist brain, yeah, you may have read Berserk and you've ascended to higher plane of being. You definitely are sitting there like, they only watch One Piece for the fights. No. To be honest, get ready for what I'm about to say. One Piece has the worst fights out of the big three and are just slightly above average in comparison to most anime. So let me explain. This is supposed to be a compliment to One Piece, but for whatever reason, I definitely need to tell the streets what I'm talking about here. So really long story short, pre-Wano, the animation is just slightly above average. The fights throughout the whole series are really long. Luffy has to rematch a villain like 10 times every arc, and every thematic and story perspective of the fights have been long hammered in by the time that its conclusion comes that the fights drag out. But chill, I did say they are above average compared to most anime, but the reason I say it's a compliment to One Piece is because it shows you how good the other aspects of the show are, and undoubtedly the coolest part of One Piece, and something that gets you like this.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
Jesus Christ, if you actually haven't seen One Piece and are watching this, pay attention to everything that is going on. It may not be on the level of Attack on Titan, but any random side character or villain can have something so deeply connected to the overarching narrative of One Piece that it's not even funny, and you never get bits about the overarching part of One Piece. So when you do, it's like, what is going on? And this makes prediction videos, theory videos, using Pythagoras theorem to calculate the chapter numbers to figure out what the One Piece is. Oh yeah. That is the big reason why Foreshadowing is so cool, because we absolutely have no clue whatsoever after 1,000 chapters what the One Piece is, and honestly, I don't even think Oda knows what the One Piece is. But what else? There's gotta be more to it to make it on this level of hype. Is it the girls?
Bruh.
No. But seriously, what is it that attributes to this hype? And honestly, Oda is just about the most creative writer you'll ever see, straight up. I don't know if he's writing the story off DMT, but even at its most boring point, something interesting is gonna happen that shakes your whole perception on the narratives, like in Punk Hazard when the cast randomly swaps bodies, or having an island made out of cake, or the fake news media being in One Piece, or an Aztec city in the sky, or Spain, or Japan, or Beppo. It's Beppo. There's just so many curveballs and nuggets that just create moments that fans attach to, and they're so random and bizarre that you can't help but remember them. And between viral moments on Twitter to crazy fan art, Oda's creativity will take you to another world that you don't get in shonen anymore. But with the likes of Freiren and Mushoku Tensei, these more creative anime are on the rise, and I hope more new anime studios realize that creativity is something that can offset your entire anime being trash. Just think, Sword Art Online is that good of a concept that you sit through that trash romance story just because you think the concept is cool, and we're not even asking for that much, man. But there's one key thing I still haven't touched on, something that I really should have by now, and that's the story. And it's kind of hard to talk about without spoiling it, so just remember that whole foreshadowing thing and think about it like this. Would the anime have this many episodes if the story was bad? So the big question, why is everyone so obsessed with One Piece? And honestly, it's a combination of all these factors. The characters, the world, the writing, all of it feels at home. When you're watching One Piece, it's like going on a journey and no one knows the destination, and that's the best part. Luffy doesn't know where his ship is going, and Oda doesn't know where the story will end, but you know you're with a cast that you can resonate with, that are all starting from nothing but have dreams to be great. And no matter who you are, there's someone to relate to, someone's dream to follow, and someone's struggle to learn from. And yes, it does do all the typical shonen tropes well, and yes, the story is great, but there's a lot of anime with great stories. But this perfect combination of cast and creativity has allowed One Piece to never have a bad arc, because when you're watching One Piece, you don't feel like you're watching characters or a story or an anime, but you feel like you're spending time with your friends.
俺は海賊王。
俺は大剣豪に。
私は世界地図を書くため。
ゆかなる海の戦士になるためだ。
Hey, you, don't click off. Check out this debate on new anime versus old anime, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget, we're just getting started, we're going to stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.